The Jeep Grand Cherokee is a standard bearer among sport utilities, one of the first car-like SUVs people bought, not because they needed such things but because they just liked driving them. More than 2 decades later and now in its 4th generation, the Grand Cherokee remains true to its original blueprint, with unibody construction, seating for 5, and a longitudinally mounted 6-cylinder naturally aspirated engine. 2 V-8s and a turbodiesel are optional, driving either the rear or all 4 wheels. It's a capable off-roader in 4x4 form, but the Jeep remains an agreeable everyday companion, with useful space for people and cargo within a wieldy package. Just don't expect much in the way of fuel economy, even with the V6 engine. Ascending Mount pricey, our Grand Cherokee was in the highfalutin Summit trim level, which sits above the Laredo E, 75th Anniversary Edition, Limited 75th Anniversary Edition, Overland, and High Altitude in the pecking order. Jeep has been probing for the upper limits of what buyers would pay for one of these SUVs ever since the dawn of the Grand Cherokee, and even before, with the Grand Wagoneer and fancy versions of the XJ Cherokee such as the gold-trimmed Limited. With our test examples mid-$50,000 as tested price, one would have to think that Jeep has found it, except that the high-performance SRT is far pricier, at $66,690. The Summit's finery includes illuminated dorsal plates, chrome mesh grille inserts, a dual-pan panoramic sunroof, acoustic laminated windshield and side glass, active noise cancellation, headlamp washers, power folding side mirrors with puddle lamps and chrome caps, 20-inch polished aluminum wheels, an 825-watt Harman Kardon audio system with 19 speakers, navigation, blind spot monitoring, forward collision warning, rear crosspath detection, a backup camera, adaptive cruise control, and the quad lift air suspension. It's a pretty comprehensive list. 3x4x4 Jeep takes off-roadability more seriously than any other brand operating in this space, and the Grand Cherokee offers no fewer than 3 4-wheel drive systems. While Jeep does offer a two-wheel drive version all the way up to the Summit trim level, the vast majority of Grand Cherokees are sold as 4x4s. In the base Laredo, the 4-wheel drive system is quadru-track with a single-speed transfer case and a fixed 5050 front-to-rear torque split. Limited and I models come with quadru-track 2, with a top-speed transfer case that adds a low-range, hill descent control, and Jeep's Select Terrain dial. Similar to a system first seen on Land Rovers, Select Terrain can optimize the mechanicals for different surfaces, such as pavement, sand, snow, rocks, and mud. The third 4-wheel drive system, QuadriDrive, comes only with the Hemi V8 and adds an electronic limit-slip rear differential along with Select Speed, which functions as an ultra-low-speed off-road cruise control. The 295 horsepower V6 is the only engine on the base Laredo, but for the Limited, Overland, and Summit it's one of 3 choices, the others being the 5.7-litre Hemi V8 and the 3.0-litre EcoDiesel. The SRT is a whole other animal, with a 475 horsepower 6.4-litre Hemi. Any of these 3 engines is paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission, now with a traditional PRND gear selection layout, having mercifully shed its weird electronic shifter, the operation of which was so anti-intuitive that it's the subject of a recall. A hearty first fuel economy has never been a Grand Cherokee bragging point, and that remains the case today, although Jeep made a series of minor changes for 2016 that bumped up its CPA ratings a bit. Among these are revised variable valve timing, lower rolling resistance tires, switching to lighter aluminium suspension components, and adding auto stop-start. We expect most owners will switch off auto stop-start, since it's not a particularly smooth or quick-acting system. The changes nudged the V8 CPA highway fuel economy rating up by 2 miles per gallon, to 22, the V6 improved by 1 mile per gallon in both city and highway counts, to 1825. The diesel ratings are unchanged at 2,128 miles per gallon. All figures are with four-wheel drive. We averaged only 18 miles per gallon with our V6 4x4, however, which is indicative of how hard the Pentester has to work to move nearly 5,000 pounds of Grand Cherokee. When cruising in the ultra-dull 8th gear, a gentle prod of the accelerator, whether to slightly increase the pace or just to maintain speed on a gentle upgrade, brings almost no response at all until the transmission drops down a gear or two. The V6, which adds 5 ponies this year for a total of 295 horsepower, feels plenty adequate moving off from a stop, but until land passing one misses the extra oomph of the Hemi, which musters an additional 65 horsepower and a whopping 130 lb-ft of extra torque. The V6 produces 260 lb-ft. We timed the V6 at 7.1 seconds from 0 to 60 miles per hour, against 6.5 in our last test of the V8. The gap was the same, 0.6 second in accelerating from 50 to 70 miles per hour, with the Pentester needing 5.3 seconds versus 4.7 for the Hemi. Jeep's quad lift is not an adaptive air suspension but is height adjustable. It automatically lowers by 1.6 inches when the vehicle is parked and can increase ground clearance from 8.2 to a maximum of 10.4 inches. It's a bit of a climb to get into the Grand Cherokee, or to hoist luggage into the cargo hold, so the idea of a suspension that lowers the vehicle when shifted into park is a good one. The increased ground clearance is meaningful only for those who are really going to challenge their $50,000 Jeep off-road, and no, curb hopping doesn't count. In street driving, the ride provided by the air suspension can be busy at times with a front-to-rear rocking motion, although buyers coming out of early generation Grand Cherokees likely will find it blush. Handling is secure with minimal body lean, and the electrically assisted power steering is comfortably weighted and fairly precise. That said, the tall and heavy Grand Cherokee is no track star, where it held on for only 0.76 grams on the skid pad and required 181 feet to stop from 70 miles per hour. Buyers set on a Grand Cherokee who are seeking truly sporting on-road behavior had better budget extra for the SRT. Two-tone two-rows. The current generation Grand Cherokee, which first appeared for 2011, finally gave the model an interior design and materials in keeping with its sometimes high-minded self-image. And as you'd expect, the Summit is the ultimate realization of the theme, with a leather-covered dashboard, a partially wood-rimmed steering wheel, and on our test example, a rich-looking dark sienna brown-black two-tone interior treatment, our vehicle's only option, at $495. All trim levels, however, enjoy a control layout that's intuitive and gimmick-free. Chrysler's Uconnect 8.4-inch touchscreen, for which Laredo buyers pay extra, is one of the easier to use and quicker responding systems, with large touch points and logical menus. We also appreciate the knobs for tuning, volume, and vac fan speed, although controls for the heated cooled seats and heated steering wheel also should be accessible outside the touchscreen. The Grand Cherokee remains exclusively a Toro, offering a 3-row Jeep, which would revive the Wagoneer nameplate, is said to be in the works. Rear seat space and access are notably better than in previous models, however, and the Summit and Overland come standard with an extra-large sunroof over both the front and rear seats. It's a pretty swell interior, and we might feel bad mucking it up with sand dormant. That's right, we never took this Summit off the pavement, just like most owners. We've spent enough time with Grand Cherokees slogging through mud and climbing over rocks to know its abilities. In a sea of car-based crossovers, the Jeep's off-road acumen sets the Grand Cherokee apart, and yet the compromises it demands are few. It's a pretty nice vehicle to spend time with, that's true even if you don't really need one, which has always been a key to this Jeep's success. This V6 engine has enough power to do the job, but buyers tempted by such a capable vehicle could be easily tempted to opt for more engine, too.